If you had to guess what the most expensive thing in the world is, what would you guess? A car? Or maybe a yacht? Well, you couldn't be more wrong. In today's video, we're going to be showing you the top 7 most expensive things in the world. Number 7. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi painting, $450 million. The distinction of being the most expensive painting ever sold belongs to Salvator Mundi. The Latin title of this Leonardo da Vinci artwork is Savior of the World. Jesus is shown clutching a transparent crystal heavenly orb in his other hand while signing the cross with his right hand and wearing a blue garment that is extremely reminiscent of the Renaissance. Sir Charles Robinson believed Bernardino Luini, a student of Leonardo, had created the artwork, which had been missing since 1763, until he bought it in 1900. Then, in 1958, it was put up for auction once more, this time at Sotheby's in England, where it brought in $125. It vanished again before being purchased in 2005 at a small American auction house. The picture sold at Christie's in New York in November 2017 for $450,312,500, a new record price for the piece, despite the fact that some respected authorities on Renaissance art dispute the attribution to Leonardo. The buyer was not mentioned. Number 6. The 105-carat Koh-i-Noor diamond, $591 million. Although this Indian jewel that has emerged as a star among the crown jewels on display in London has a sad past associated with colonial invasion, despite the bad luck that seemed to accompany its owners, the diamond was revered by Hindus because it was obtained from alluvial deposits in India. From then on, a lot of people showed interest in it, but in the end, Queen Victoria received the diamond as a prized possession. It was initially set into the crown of Queen Alexandra, the wife of Edward VI, Victoria's eldest son, and was initially worn by the Queen as a brooch before eventually becoming a piece of the crown jewels. The crown most recently made headlines when it was put on Queen Elizabeth II's casket during her funeral. Imagine the so-called bad luck diamond, now in the spotlight and worth millions of dollars. Number 5. The Antilia Building, $2 billion. The Antilia Building is the most expensive house in the world. It is estimated to be worth over $2 billion. And guess who owns it? The richest man in India, Mukesh Ambani. The Antilia Building is maintained by 600 employees, is a 27-story private skyscraper with a private theater, gardens on the terrace, a private spa and swimming pool, a health center, a religious temple, a ballroom, and more. It also has its own air traffic controller and a garage that can fit 168 automobiles. What a house! Number 4. The B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber, $2.1 billion. The B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber has multiple uses in both peacetime and conflict, and it cost $2.1 billion to construct. The B-2 Spirit Stealth Bomber was created in the 1980s in order to sneak past Soviet air defense systems unnoticed. It started out as a flying wing or a plane without a body, because its lack of a body made it harder to be detected by radar. It was created with such a sophisticated, advanced design, and it is still among the most powerful aircraft that we know about today. Number 3. History Supreme Yacht, $4.8 billion. You might wonder what's so special about this yacht for it to be worth this much. Well, although you've seen some magnificent yachts, nothing comes close to the 100-foot History Supreme. The $4.8 billion super yacht, which is covered from stem to stern in platinum and gold, was designed by British luxury goods trader Stuart Hughes, who also works as an iPad magician, and was purchased by a Malaysian businessman. Aside from its price, the boat has a renowned engine that is regarded as one of the best in the world. It flies through the water at incredible speed, but you wouldn't even notice because you'd be engulfed in all its glitz. On this yacht, gold-plated accommodations are standard, and guests are given every convenience imaginable. Numerous amenities, including swimming pools, dance floors, movie theaters, pubs, and lounges, are available to them. Cool, right? Number 2. The International Space Station, $150 billion. When we hear the phrase, the most costly thing ever built, we immediately picture something else we've seen in a movie or somewhere else. The International Space Station, on the other hand, cost $150 billion. But you might be surprised to hear that when it comes to planning and construction expenses, the International Space Station tops the list, costing an astounding $150 billion, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. It is the biggest modular space station ever constructed, and just keeping it running costs NASA $4 billion annually. In the Mission Control Centers in Houston, Moscow, and Munich, a reality TV show is broadcast every day on their massive screens. There is no danger, no suspense, and no emotion. If you're lucky, you might get a glimpse of an astronaut floating by the camera in outer space. The ISS is thus, without a doubt, a superb illustration of human intellect and engineering. Finally, at number 1, we have antimatter. Antimatter is currently the most expensive substance in the universe, with a price tag of over $62.5 trillion per gram. Yes, you heard right, $62.5 trillion for just a gram. When you consider the technology required to create antimatter, the explanation for its enormous cost becomes clear. It takes about 10 years and $4.75 billion to build this antimatter, plus 120 MW of electricity, which is enough to power a large city. And what is this overly expensive thing used for? It's definitely not to help you run as fast as the Flash, if that's what you're thinking. It is used in medical imaging, such as positron emission tomography, PET. Also, the destruction of antimatter has the potential to release a great deal of energy, and the energy density of antimatter is higher than that of ordinary fuels, so it may be stored and utilized as fuel. So, a spacecraft powered by antimatter would have a higher thrust-to-weight ratio than one powered by conventional fuels. A gram of antimatter has the potential to ignite a nuclear bomb-sized explosion. There you have it. What do you think about this list? Let us know in the comments section.